If a company offers to ship to you at no charge to you, that is what we call, you guessed it, shipping to you at no charge. So, shipping to customers at no charge, or sometimes referred to as free shipping, is an interesting concept because somebody has to pay for the shipment of that item. So, who's going to do that? In the late 80s. To answer this question, we need to journey on to a city in Canada called Toronto. Toronto is home to many living species such as the blue jay bird and the raptor dinosaur, just to name a couple. Toronto is also home to a unique business model that began in 1957. Battling super department stores such as Eaton's and Sears, Consumers Distributing was formed. The company founder thought of the brilliant idea to design a business model that would, get this, save customers money. Jack Stoop is his name, a door-to-door salesman with a business drive equal to his competitors of the day. Emerging from a single unit of a Toronto basement, Consumers Distributing aimed to reduce costs for customers by stocking merchandise in a warehouse-type stocking system instead of displaying them in a costly showroom. This business model is what would later be used for many of today's big box stores. There's another facet to their business model that they would later implement that we will later talk about. But for now, let's talk about how consumers ran their business. Twice a year, Consumers Distributing sent out a main catalog with products that included jewelry, appliances, kitchenware, toys, personal care, discount furniture, electronics, and seasonal goods, pretty much what you find in Walmart and Target. They would also send out mini catalogs in between these two launches to advertise seasonal items that are being offered. These catalogs were euphoric to browse through, as one could create a wish list by cutting and pasting items that gave them shopper's delight. Each item had a corresponding number attached to it, and forms were provided within the catalogs so that customers could pencil in their item number with the quantities and take them into the store, where a clerk would go into the back to retrieve the items being requested. The stores were pretty basic, as they featured a layout consisting of a series of glass cabinets that displayed merchandise, with standing desks on the floor that had catalogs available for customers wanting to browse and purchase something right there. Of course, not everything was on display. That was the job of the catalog. The simple premise was having a smaller showroom to take up less space for the business to have a larger warehouse to store inventory. Their model was working. Really working. Okay, so let's talk some numbers here. From 1957 to 1969, the company was privately held, and by 1981, there were 400 locations between Canada and the northeastern states of the US, as well as California and Nevada. In 1988, sales revenue topped $1 billion, remarkable for the 1980s. Before we continue to bask in the successes of this grassroots company, please do remember that this is an episode of Technono, and amazing things must come to an end. A lot of times, when the visionary exits the vision, the future begins to plummet. And plummet it did for the company, as its founder sold the rest of his stake in the company in 1985 for $32 million. The 59-year-old was no longer looked to for future growth, so he decided to scurry out of there. It looked like Consumers Distributing would survive without its coach and mentor, and that was the occurrence. However, there were certain bugs that plagued the company. Imagine this. You've spent the whole year being a good old boy. You did your chores, you kept your grades up, and you didn't throw any little kid tantrums. You spent hours upon hours looking at the new radio-controlled car that you've wanted all year. And now the day has arrived. The all-day holiday shopping trip that begins with going to the nearest consumer's distributing store with your form all penciled in, ready to be handed to the clerk. You get there, and it's super busy because, well, it's the holiday season. You wait in line to hand the form in. Then you wait some more for the clerk to return. They finally return to give you the news that the toy you wanted all year long was out of stock. Well, actually, they give your parents the news, but you already understand what's going on. Consumers had the awful reputation of items frequently being out of stock, which they tried hard to address, implementing a bulletin board within stores that showed which items were out of stock. This was before computerization became mainstream. They also implemented a state-of-the-art inventory system that could check the in-stock availability of other stores in real time, and also would suggest alternate products at the store which were in stock. They were one of the first companies to implement real-time stock checking and prepayment for products available at other branches and the main warehouse. They also opened up larger stores that would have all of the in-stock products on display and offered store-to-store transfers of items in stock at other locations. Remember earlier when I said there was another facet to their business model? Get this. To further try to appease their customer base, they even offered free shipping. Well done, we would say. However, there's always a however. All of these initiatives overextended the company. Consumers distributing was the Amazon of its time. Just how Amazon has had other companies mimic their business model, so it was with consumers as they became so popular that other retailers like the Bay tried but ultimately failed in copying their model. High operating expenses, increasing competition, changing retailing trends such as warehouse format stores, deflation in several product categories such as jewelry and electronics, a deep lingering recession, and the expansion of Walmart into Canada all contributed to the company's bankruptcy in 1996. Isn't it interesting how concepts that have appeared in the past now form the standard of today? Customers today search for free shipping first before they search for their desired product. Or at least that's what I do. In closing, consumers distributing brought the world a store that humanity has been served well by. But as life progresses, this typically includes the way we shop. And so consumers distributing and their thick catalogs of euphoria is now known as Technono. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to be notified of nostalgia within the tech industry.